Internet! Hello, you absolute lovelies. Let's talk all about it. Welcome to Derry, Season 1, Episode 7. One of the most haunting episodes of TV I have seen. What an incredible hour of TV. Gonna be diving into full spoilers for this and all the episodes prior. If you're new to this page, I cover movies, I cover TV, and I cover comic books, lots and lots of stuff in the genre space, but I really love things that feel like this, which is using a supernatural or fantastical thing to sneak morality in, to get ethics and worldviews and get important messages into things, but with the shininess of horror or superhero or any of those things. So I review movies, TV, and comics with that lens. So if you like any of pop culture stuff, you like any genre stuff, hit that subscription bell. Also like this video, so I know you like this video. I am doing this a day late, so please engage with this one a little extra. I was traveling for the debut of this episode, so I'm playing catch up. So please let me know in the comments what you thought of this spectacular episode of It, Welcome to Derry. Let's talk about it. So episode 7 is an incredible 3-act structure, and all of the acts are traumatic in different ways. The third act is traumatic in the most our world way. The second act is traumatic in the most parts of our world way, and the first act is traumatic in the journey to get to this point. And I really loved that all of them felt so cohesive to the many tapestries of this quilt that we've sewn throughout the series so far. I love the throwback to Pennywise, and people that don't know the story and maybe only know the movies, the alien elements, the big supernatural Stephen King elements. You know, a lot of people see this dancing clown and don't realize what's underneath. So to see the origin of the humanoid, the human that is the figure that is Pennywise, and how he was drawn to this clown, because he sees that all these kids who obviously he wants to be a figure that these kids are drawn to, he sees this entity, and so he takes on Pennywise's appearance, and the actual Pennywise, the dancing clown, his story is so sad, like losing his wife, raising his daughter alone, his daughter taking on the mantle of Periwinkle, which was his wife's name, her clown name, their duo name. Like, all of that was so beautiful and haunting. You just get such a sense of the man that the original Pennywise was, and that really enhances our modern day Periwinkle, losing her father, and the trauma of trying to reignite a relationship with this actual entity, this it that she sees as her father, because that is the facade it's taken on. And we'll talk about that here in a second. But I just love that they give us a little bit more depth with Periwinkle as a child, with that relationship, and that obviously enhances the modern day a lot. But it really gives us, it gives Skarsgård some time to play and actually be something. But I don't know, I thought it added some really worthy depth, and I really love that the clown now has its own, part of the journey, and I thought that was really interesting. The second act brings us back to the black spot. Now, the black spot is apparently, I haven't read the book, I don't want to claim to know from actual experience, but the black spot is apparently the big impetus of a lot of the story that they wrote out. The events that happen in this episode of the black spot are in the book, and then they wrote the military and family element around the black spot burning down and that horrific event that happens here. And I say this is, still topical in parts of the country and a lot of the world, and it was so painful to watch because they really did an incredible job showing the terror of what that would feel like from inside. There's so many great wonders. It's a great film device. It's a great cinematic device to make you feel like you're on the journey. The recklessness, the intensity, the wonder kind of puts you in an eye line in a very unique way. And I love when they do it in things like Extraction or, things like Daredevil and all those things that heighten the action. I find in horror, it's really hard to fully want to suspend disbelief enough to put you into the situation, but this did it so brutally and so wonderfully that you couldn't help but be in awe of the trauma of how terrifying that would be, like in an actual way. Like, it was a terrifying scene. I say wonderfully as like the tech and the ability, not like it's a wonderful thing to experience. It was so impressively disorienting. It was so impressively violent and intense. It was so consistent. It was so well orchestrated, like the stunts and the acting and the use of silhouettes and the lighting and all of it at an 11. And I was just so impressed as soon as we got back to that. I thought it was really bold to open with Pennywise, especially with the cliffhanger in episode 6. And then as soon as you got back to the black spot, you knew it was going to be bad. And there was, no way that them leaving was going to be anything except for what ended up happening. But it was more horrific because I think of the wonder, because of the POV, because of the sheer brilliance of the way it was shot. It just felt so horrific. And to know that happens and happened a lot, but happens to people, that to know that, that experience is something humans are capable of. And that obviously tying into the greater lore of this big event that starts and ends its 27-year cycle. The augur sorry, the language escapes me. It is like very late, and I just got off a plane and watched this, so I apologize if this is less cohesive. But that incident that occurs on either side of its sleep, this was so traumatic to live in. And then we lost one of our this era losers club. Rich, they did such a good job making like so adorable and precious and so like endearing and just enough a rapscallion that you liked him even more. And like there's that fine line between like that kid greaser edge that's annoying, but this kid walked it. They were so cute together. That actual heroic sacrifice, that night moment, saving the damsel in distress, and that whole thing was just so beautiful and painful. And that kid is such a, I mean, every one of these kids is such a great actor, but that death scene was so powerful. And I really liked that in a show that kills a lot of kids, it had that one not be comedic at all, and not be, because at times you do something really extreme, it's got a little levity in it out of the extremeness. It also wasn't something that happened and it felt flippant. This was a really powerful, very somber, very lived in moment, and I was just so impressed at it. So the whole scene at the black spot, the escape, and again Dick Halloran just doing the work and saving the day. Really impressed with everyone in the show as far as acting and stunts and that whole sequence. Third act brings us to the military. The military stuff is, I think, the stuff that's been the most hit or miss for me, and this made it so that I go hit now. It honestly really resonates that we live in a world like we do, 2025, that is so based in fear. Like, we live in a world that fear is the great controller of things, whether it's fake news, whether it's propaganda, which is similar but slightly different, whether it's people saying things that make people believe in conspiracies, whether it's people trying to disbelieve science. Like, fear drives society. And I love the idea of weaponizing Pennywise to be a commentary on that kind of fear today. Because again, as I said at the start of this video, genre content is so good at being a commentary on the present, whether that's in a fantastical future, fantastical past, something as horrific as this. But that commentary allows the Trojan horse morality to sneak in. And we live in the world today that weaponizes fear. The military weaponizing fear by using this story in a time where racism was on the face in a different way, where a town like this, has this kind of segregation in such an overt way. All these things, but then to tie that into, the military that does this. Like, there's so many weapons in our reality that are so terrifying, that are to cause fear. So I really like that James Remar, and that's one of the hit or miss things. James Remar has always been hitting for me because that character has been great, and Remar's an incredible actor. But some of his choices have felt like, okay, where's he going to land on this? I love the spelling it out of, he's a guy that's been through war and he wants his country to be how he thinks his country should be, and he'll do anything for that. That's what happens when you're in that position, I imagine. I've never been in that position. But I was just so impressed at how much I believed his belief in what he was doing, even though it was the most horrific possible thing. And then we get, after all of the things Leroy has done this whole season, after everything he's done for his family, there's nothing he can do because he's got to follow these orders with the military tradition the thing happening anyway. And that beat of it falling into the liquid magma, and then the Pennywise we got after that, man, that terrifying new look with the like nose down, all red, that intensity, the jump from the fridge, that whole scene. And I was not expecting Will. I thought that kid was safe. I thought since we lost Rich, we wouldn't lose anyone else. That moment with Will is shocking and painful, and another great cliffhanger as we go into the final episode. Everything about this episode just really worked for me. The first act with Pennywise proper, like OG, Pennywise the Dancing Clown himself. The second act with the black spot and that insane action and sense of awe and terror, and just, it was just so intense and striking and powerful and sad and tragic. It was just brutal. Third act, it's almost like more difficult to wrap yourself around how much that things haven't changed with the third act. And I was really impressed with them diving into that. So really impressed with this episode 7. Very excited for the finale. Andy Muschietti killing it as always. Directed this one. He's directed a bunch of these this season, writing them, just killing it. But definitely felt his handiwork on this one. Very hands-on. Yeah, man, what a genius. I've been really digging this show, man. Andy Muschietti, he is so consistently good at new ways to manipulate you as an audience, but also to try experimental horrors that are so scary in different ways. Just so impressed. So yeah, hats off to him. Hats off to this whole team. Hats off to all the actors. And we got one of these left, so I will be here for next Sunday. This Sunday, yesterday, as of recording this, I was traveling for a very cool thing. And that meant I couldn't watch this at all, much less record it. So I got off the plane, I kid you not, an hour and 40 minutes ago. And I rushed home, and I think it took 42 minutes to get here. Nope, the show was an hour and 5. So an hour and 55 minutes ago. I literally walked in the door, I haven't even unpacked yet, pressed welcome to Derry, hit record on this, and I got this up for you lovelies. So I'm sorry it's a day late. Sunday I'll be here on time, and hopefully this found an audience late. I don't know if it will, but I hope it does. I appreciate you guys for watching. Please leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Please like, subscribe, all the things with the YouTube. And I've got a bunch of really cool Supergirl coverage coming up, starting with something that you guys have asked for very specifically, a start to a series I'm going to be doing covering comic book arcs. And I wanted to kick it off with Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. So keep your eyes peeled for that if it's not up already. All right, appreciate y'all. I'll see you for the finale next week. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of 7. It's my favorite episode so far. What a show. And that Pennywise look at the end. Good God, what a show. All right. Bye.